Hi, I'm Tom Kirkham with Eagle Mountain Plumbing and Mechanical, and welcome to my world. What you see behind me here is a hydronic heating system for about a 4,000 square foot house that we did many years ago and just did a recent upgrade. It was time to replace equipment and upgrade the system, so we got some brand new features in here with more updated and more energy efficient heating system, filtration system, and a lot of new pipes just to make it a little more efficient than what we originally built here. What this does, this system heats the downstairs floor of this house with tubes that we got running through the floor with hot water in them, and it radiates the heat up. They've got a little basement area that it heats, and then this whole first floor of the house that it heats. This system over here is a forced air system, and this heats upstairs. But the heating supply in this, what you would typically call an air handler for an FAU forced air unit system, is also hot water. So there's a radiator inside here that hot water runs through, and that's how they heat the house. So the whole house is heated with hot water, what we call a hydronic heating system. So if we want to start over here at the very beginning of this system, there's a little tank here by a company called Navien, and a bigger Tankless here. I said tank, it's not a tank, it's a Tankless. And then a bigger system here. These two work together with a computer board and a linked cable that tells them when to work. This one over here is nothing but domestic hot water for the house, what you shower in, what you drink, how you wash your hands. This one here does both the floor heating, the hydronic heating in a regular, and is a backup to this one for the domestic hot water. So Navien has built a system where they can take what they call a combi boiler and a tankless water heater and have them work together as one, which really helped this system. You can see the vent piping up here is all PVC, which means it's super energy efficient. These are both 98% efficient. So for every $100 the owners put into natural gas to heat this, only $2 is going out these flue pipes, and that's basically 98% what it means. Another feature we have with their domestic is this halo system. Now, to be honest, this is the first one I put in. We're trying it, but it has a media inside that combines with calcium molecules, makes those molecules so they don't stick to plumbing fixtures. It also has a carbon filter inside for taste and odor and all the other things you want to get rid of in the water that you're drinking or showering in. So it's got a backwash system. That's why we have this type of head on it with a little computer screen. And every 7 days, water runs reverse through this, kind of cleans it out a little bit and takes that backwashed water and dumps it into the sewer system. And we've got a pipe here that goes to a spot that we have up underneath the house that it can dump into and go into the sewer. In our area, it's completely fine to do that. I know there's some jurisdictions that don't like it. Since this has no salt, we don't have that salt factor happening here. So in a hydronic heating system, there's a whole variety of ways of doing it. And the way this one was built is we have some circulation lines that run through this boiler. This heats the water that's going into the floor, and a thermostat will turn on a controller up here. That controller turns on the pumps begin to circulate and start moving the hot water through the house in whatever zone in the house needs to be heated up. So it heats from the floor up, so you can imagine you're gonna have a pretty nice warm floor when you're just getting to the temperature with a thermostat that's up on a wall. And set that at 68, and this warm floor is gonna be pretty warm. The heat will travel up the wood, up the walls, up the furniture, and it heats the space from the ground up. And you don't have any forced air blowing on you where you feel cold air or hot air depending on the time of the year. Except for on their second floor, they have this system, and it is doing forced air up there, and that was the design they have. This is a Canadian company. We want to give a little shout out to Life Breath. It's a Canadian company. I bought this over 20 years ago. It's worked flawlessly. We've never had a problem with this thing. It keeps cranking along, and it's like one of these days I might have to replace the pump in it or something. but so far it's worked like a champ. Let me see if I can kind of point out a little bit how this works to you. We've got pipes right here. Here's your domestic pipes. This is the domestic hot water. This is the domestic cold water. It goes through this filter and then back up and feeds the whole house. These two pipes here are hydronic pipes. This is the feed to the hydronic system, and this is the return from the hydronic system. So if we look right here, I can show you a small example. These two pipes here are connected to a pump that's kind of buried back in the structure of the home, hard to see. But the hot water will come through the pipe, go down the tube, go to what we call a zone that we want to heat, and it will turn back through these pipes. This is actually a snow melt system for one of their decks. So they have a deck upstairs ultimately the third floor of this house that they don't want snow building up on, and they don't want to have to shovel it. So we got these tubes running back and forth on the deck, and when they turn on, the control that operates that, the pump starts running and forces hot water up to that deck, runs through the floor and melts the snow. The snow just goes away. Back behind here, we have larger systems that are doing the driveway. We have another system that's doing sidewalks in the backyard. This right here is doing the sidewalks in the backyard, and it's the same thing. This is a supply pipe, this is a return pipe. If you notice, the pipes I'm pointing at are plastic. This is called PEX. It's basically PEX, and it's polyethylene, and the X means cross. So polyethylene cross is the tubing we use for hydronic heating all across the country. And this is what goes underground, under a driveway, under tile in a house, under carpet, wood floor, whatever. This is the tubing that's running there and spreading the heat around the house. The water then, as it goes out, returns, comes back in, and goes through a loop below this, what we call a combination boiler. And the combination boiler is just injecting hot water and then reheats that hot water and shoves it back in a pipe. And so the return water that's cool, because it's lost all its heat, just keeps going underneath this bottom pipe here. This is the return back here, comes through, it injects really hot water, like 140 degrees, into the return water. When it comes here, part of that return water goes back into this, reheats and comes back out, and this pipe here continues on, and this is all nice and hot. So thus the beanie, because it's cold outside. We're in a mountain environment. This works great in mountains. The other places also works really great in is at the coast, at the beach, coastal homes, or anywhere where it's really humid and 63 degrees and you feel chilled, and there's nothing nicer than walking on a warm floor when you wake up in the morning. And people just love it. People that have it love it. We've even put it on people's patios in coastal regions where they want to sit out on their patio in their chair and have their feet on a warm floor and a little warm heat coming up around them, and they watch the view go by. It's heating your floor is just an amazing way of comfort. It's also ultimately the cheapest way to heat a house. When you're heating the air wants to escape through all the holes in the house. When you're heating the floor, that heat travels up the walls, travels up into the furniture, and it's not trying to run away. It's chasing cold, but it's chasing the cold in your home, not air that's escaping and heat that's going out into the environment. It's staying in your house and warming up all the surfaces. Your countertop in your kitchen, you walk in the morning, beautiful granite countertop. That countertop you touch, it's cold. The heat from your hands isn't feeling the cold countertop. What your hands are feeling is the heat in your hands chasing the cold in the countertop, because heat chases cold. So when you put your hand down there, what you're actually feeling is heat leaving your body, cooling off your body. It's a weird concept, but that's how it works. It's actually the science behind it. So as we heat surfaces, let's say it's heating the island up the wood, the countertop gets a little bit warmer. As you put your hand out there, suddenly that your hand is not sensing heat moving into a cold surface as much. So all of a sudden your countertops, your furniture, your cabinets, it's almost imperceptible, but they are feeling warmer to you. And when the heat's not leaving your body, you feel more comfortable. The other thing that's very interesting about that is when we're heating air, we're going to be pumping it into your house at 110 to 115 where we're heating air. So you feel warm on you, you feel warm in the air, that all starts to feel, your body starts to feel comfortable. But still, when you walk up and put your hand on a wall, the wall's cold. The furniture's cold. The floor is cold. The countertop's cold. Hydronic heating eliminates all those cold surfaces. So now the air feels more comfortable at a lower temperature. So that's what we find happening a lot. Clients will look at the thermostat and say, oh, my house is only at 63 degrees and you need to come fix it. And I said, well, are you comfortable? Yeah, I'm comfortable, but it's only 63. Our trick is we put tape over that and say, okay, call me back in 2 or 3 days and tell me if you're uncomfortable. Oh, everything's fine. It must be warming up now. Peel the tape off and see what the temperature is. It's still 63 degrees. It's a very interesting thing that we run into. And I learned it the hard way myself. It's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And I learned the science behind it. And we just tell everybody, yeah, you are going to experience lower temperatures in your home and be more comfortable than you were at higher temperatures with like forced air in an old home. Like if you're building a new home and you're considering hydronic heating, it is the way to go if you can afford to do it. Downside is its initial install is about 2/3 more than a forced air system. The upside is your utility bill is going to be lower, and within 5 to 10 years you have paid that extra cost in utility savings and you're going to be more comfortable. So that's kind of my scoop on hydronics. Just wanted to see something that we have recently upgraded from an older system that had different type of technology in it. And the clients are very comfortable. The house is warming the way it should. And we're just in here. We're going to cover all this pipe up with insulation, do a couple more touch-ups on this, and then this rehab will be done.